Alejandro Garnacho to leave this January. That looks to be the most likely decision that Amorim and co have made. Well, welcome to the National Sport. My name is Webb. Here is an update on the transfer situation. Of course, we spoke about Kobby Mainoo earlier because reports came out suggesting that Kobby could leave, that apparently his agent was had talking to Chelsea. Now, this is something for those of us who are live, eat and breathe Kobby. We were really not left so well. We did raise up in arms, but of course there's an explanation for it because you understand the financial fair play, the predicament, guys, that Ineos inherited this club at, that the Glazers had put it in, is so deep and difficult that certain sacrifices have got to be made. But what we know is that Kobby is happy. What we know, the talks of him demanding for 200,000 quid per week, I don't think is right. I told you these agents are the ones misleading some of these players. Kobby is happy and calm. He has a contract until 2027 with an option of a further 1 year. But also, Man United are not in a rush. Now, what I think what we're trying to misinterpret is the fact that because of the predicament, which I'm going to explain to you, which same predicament could get Man United lose Garnacho, because United is financially constrained when it comes to the PSR rules, that they need to be creative. Find solutions using the same players that the Glazers used as collateral to get big, heavy loans. So, the thing is, if United sold Garnacho right now, or Kobby, these are any academic kid, that would be seen, any amount they sell would be seen as absolute profit. So that would quickly raise them up in terms of their financial fair play score. So they can't be able to do business. So a sacrifice has got to be made to find a solution for Man United to level up when it comes to financial fair play. Now, this is where people are saying that, for example, if a club comes in and pays 80 million quid, tables 80 million quid for Kobby, United can listen because it's all profit. 80 million in such a predicament, which is all profit, they can sacrifice any player and move on, try to get themselves up to get back on their feet to try and do business. But that is said to be the list of options that they are looking for, to explore all other options and solutions to sort the situation. Now, to us, people like me, that would still be insane. But like I've explained to you, the gist of the matter is the Glazers sank this club in a financial predicament regarding players that now they have got to sacrifice important players. I've told you here several times before that if Man United are going to get any feet up to be able to stand and run, probably, they have got to sell the players who can command a significant fee. Now, at that point, I remember I was telling you, United needed to sell Rashford. The time they were giving him a hefty new contract, perhaps they should have been looking for a buyer and sold him for 100 million, because the club would pay 100 million at the time. PSG would pay that money. But right now, Rashford, because if United got a buyer of Marcus Rashford and they paid, let's say, 80 million, that would be a huge solution for Man United. That would sort them up. But you see, they want him to go, but no one can pay for him. No one can pay that amount of money. He doesn't want to go to Saudi, where that money would come from. So Man United are left now having to sacrifice young players like Garnacho, because it is now said that if a club comes and Atletico Madrid are seriously interested in him, if they came and paid 50 million quid, Man United would quickly take it. 50, 60 million, Man United would take it because of how much it would help them in terms of their business, in terms of being able to do business in the transfer window. So that's a predicament. But here I am to try, of course, also to think of something else, another solution, because United right now, clearly, Alejandro Garnacho is not really the most exciting of players to Ruben Amorim. And we know that Amorim right now desperately needs a wing back, a left wing back, and we know that the money is not there, and United is pointing to players like Nuno Mendes. Why then does Manchester United perhaps negotiate a swap deal? Because Nuno Mendes himself is priced at over 50 million. Nearly the same value United rate Garnacho at is the same value that PSG would want for Nuno Mendes. Why can't they negotiate a swap deal, a direct swap deal, where United loses Garnacho to PSG, because PSG having lost Kylian Mbappe, Garnacho is perhaps a player at his age Luis Enrique can want to work with to try and mold into the future Mbappe. Then United gets the Nuno Mendes, who would probably be of more use to Ruben Amorim now. So I think these are kind of solutions that the club should be contemplating now, because clearly Even if United got, and let's say United woke up now and got 50 million quid for Leandro Garnacho in cash, where would they spend it? You'd ask yourself that. Who would they spend it on? To buy who? It would help them, but who would they spend it on? Because in January, even if you got that 50 million cash, if you're going to buy players in Jan, they might be overpriced, and you might get a player who you should be able to get in the summer for 30 million quid. Is the one you could get for 50 million in Jan because you're desperate. So that's again would be another bad negotiation. And yet United are desperate to do something this Jan if they are going to avert relegation. So why then don't you just go into a direct swap deal for a player who is going to give you a clear solution in one of your weakest departments, the left wing back department, and let Garnacho go there? Because I don't think Garnacho would himself turn down the idea of joining Paris Saint-Germain. I don't think Paris Saint-Germain would be a disappointment for him. So there is a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of finding solutions. And Ineos, and that's for me the heartbeat now. It's what they're trying to do to find solutions. Of course, we know that player representatives, for example, for Marcus Rashford, is in Italy trying to talk to Milan and move around, perhaps talk to several other clubs, including Juventus and Dortmund. But in terms of the other players who they want to let go of, United need to be creative. But the reality is the situation is so difficult. The situation is so difficult that certain deals that will happen, we'll look at and we're thinking, how is this happening? They won't make sense perhaps to most of us, but it is not because they want to, but it is Ineos trying to make sacrifices, and they warned us. You do recall that Sir Jim Ratcliffe warned and said that if Man United is going to get back up, they are going to have to make certain drastic decisions. These, removal of free things, reduction on staff, increase in ticket prices. All these are things that are leaving certain people not happy, but they need to be done if they are going to correct the so many wrongs that the Glazers made as they were running this club into depletion near so. So that's where we are. So for me, a swap deal involving Garnacho and Nuno Mendes wouldn't be a bad idea given the situation. But listen, the option of selling Kobby can never make sense. However much United is in a predicament, it can never make sense to nobody unless you don't know who that boy is in the eyes of Man United supporters. Cheers.